Hello, I am Gary Gatto, and welcome to Race First coverage of Round 2 of Season 1 of 22 of the Stock Carnival Do Brasil, coming to you from beautiful Summit Point Raceway. As always, joining me in the booth, our expert analysis. He's my teammate in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. It's Antonio Estrada. So, Antonio, what did we learn from last week, and do you think there'll be much passing going on here on this very narrow circuit?
Hey, Gary, thank you. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I'm very excited about round 2 of the Stock Carnival Do Brasil, especially after last week when we had a blast. There were a lot of comers and goers, and everyone was glued together all the time. So I think we're going to be watching something similar. Summit Point is a great track that, pretty much all of us have driven around since it's one of those, rookie-ish kind of tracks that we get on iRacing. But it's a technical track, and it's a very fun one. There, like you said, there aren't very many passing zones except for the front stretch, and perhaps turn 10 just coming to it. And if you're brave, then you can also maybe make turn 5 work to your advantage right before the S's. Although that's a little bit of it's going to be a little bit tricky to get it correctly. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of uses of that push-to-patch button that last week we saw was a huge advantage, and we were wrong in some of the data that we had. It's not 50 horsepower, it's an additional 100 horsepower, which makes you bolt through everyone. So again, it's a very strategic resource, and it's a limited resource, so you need to take really good care of it and know when to use it and when to use it effectively.
All right, as you see, we're about 6 minutes 40 seconds remaining into the 10-minute qualifying period. Just to give you an idea of the format, before we move on, we'll talk about tonight's points here next. Before this was a 60-minute practice. Then after the practice here, 10-minute or 10-lap qualifying run, whatever comes first. And then what we'll have is a 30-lap or 15-minute heat race. From there, the top 8 are inverted, I believe, and they will then go to the feature, which is 60 laps or 30 minutes. 30% capacity fuel on these guys, no tire limits, but they will be making pit stops and tire changes. Let's take a look at the points from last week, and that would have been from Interlagos. Bring it up on our screen right here. So you're going to have to help me with some of these names because I was not privy to last week too much. But again, it's only after 1 week, so no one's really climbed away and hidden quite yet. Just about everyone is still in contention theoretically at this point. So
for sure.
Go ahead and what do you see here on the points here with Ragu, Montero, Hill, and Miranda, your top 4?
Yeah, and especially because there is a maximum of 54 points that you can earn per week. So Facundo Rago really maximized that with a P2 and a win on the feature race. Then we have Ezequiel Montero with 46. He won the sprint race and ended up P3 on the feature race. Chris Hill with 44. Then Bruno Miranda 35. Rafael Oliveira 32. JJ Wang with 31. Glenn Luzon and Joshua Tucker tied with 26. Then we have Matthew Johnson really close to them with 25. Juan Garcia Garland with 22. Alexander Pocheet with 20. Dan Miglin and Drew White tied with 18. And Sean Britt with 7. But yeah, again, you have up to 54 points per grabs per session. So I think we're going to have this is not set in stone up at all. And again, we have one short race and one long race ahead of us tonight.
You say the names with such more grace than I can. We'll leave the reading of the points to you every week if that's the case. But there you have it. It's only after the Interlagos rounds, and as you mentioned, everyone's still in contention and we might see some changes to that tonight. Let's take a look at the remaining schedule of the season. We're only 2 rounds in, as we just mentioned. Interlagos was last week. Summit Point, of course, this week. Next week we will go to the Fuji road course. They actually one of the brand new racetracks here on the iRacing service. Then follow that up by Laguna, Seca. Then the road course, the infield road course at Phoenix. That should be pretty interesting. Haven't really seen much ever done there. Sandown, Watkins Glen, and then a return trip to Interlagos, where we will crown a champion on championship day there on September 1st. And that is a remaining schedule. Take a look here, get some information up on the screen how we're doing in qualifying.
Yeah, and I see that Ezequiel Montero is currently leading, but he actually has a penalty. There are a couple of penalties from last week that are carrying over to this week.
Good segue.
Yeah, exactly. So Ezequiel got an AOL penalty for an avoidable wreck with Chris Hill on the feature race, and we also have one for Matt Johnston, but he's gonna actually have to start from the pits because of an avoidable incident with JJ Wong and Glenn Luzon that we actually got to see last week. So yeah, I mean the time for Ezequiel is gonna be taken out. So Miranda would be currently in the lead.
All right. And he has a 113.9, P3 a 114.1. So only 2 cars right now on the 113. Still a little bit more time left and some laps left here before we wrap it up and we line up for Heat Race 1. Good showing tonight. Looks like we got about 19 cars.
Yeah, a lot of newcomers, which is great to see. And something else that I wanted to talk about, last week we saw that the car was very twitchy and very hard to control, and I think that also had to do with the elevation changes of Interlagos itself. Summit Point being a much flatter track, it's actually much easier to have the car planted, so I think it's not going to be as tough on the drivers as we saw last week.
Yeah, not a lot of elevation change around here. It's a pretty flat course. There you see a little bit of a rise there as they are going to the back portion of the course. But yeah, pretty much flat as it goes here.
The only thing, though, is if for whatever reason you get pushed out of the track, well, there's nothing to stop you but trees.
Yeah, that's as you saw there in turn 1 at the end of the long straight. If anyone, again, you mentioned a lot of us have done many laps of this track because it's one of the free tracks included in the service. So it's one of your places where you help earn toward getting your D license, I guess, is here. And yeah, once you get your wheels off the dirt in some areas here, it is goodbye. But in some areas, certainly through some of the S's where they have kitty litter there that surrounds them, you see them driving right through it like it's not even bothering them. So we shall see how that impacts them on these slicks during the race. But 18, 17, 16, 15 seconds now left before we wrap it up and get to Heat Race 1. Miranda retakes the pole right there by 0.007 seconds. Miranda on the pole with a 113.870. Montero one-ups him right there. A 113.6 right at the buzzer.
Yeah, those Junco's teammates really showing up here.
We'll take a look here at the starting lineup for the first heat race as they're starting to load in here slowly. Looks like we got a full lap before we do the green flag, so plenty of time here.
Yeah, and there's the end-of-life penalty for Ezequiel, so he's going to start at the back. but still, that tells us he's very fast again, and he's going to be coming from the back. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. We will keep a one eye on the camera and one eye on the change camera button to his car because I'm sure he will be a beast coming through this field. All right, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup for the heat race here at Summit Point.
So we have Ezequiel Montero and Bruno Miranda on the first row, although Ezequiel is going to go to the back. Then we have Facundo Rago and Christopher Hill in row 2. JJ Wang and Olivier Vignon in row 3, with Rafael Oliveira and Matthew Short in row 4. Fabian Delgado and Matt Houston from Racebirds in row 5. Anderson Bayano and Drew White, row 6. Josh Shocker and Glenn Wilson, row 7. Dan Miglin and Alexander Pochid on row 8. David Maciel and Matt Johnston, row 9. And Ian Ogden in row 10, although I'm not sure if he's still in the session.
Yeah, showing with no time, but that's okay. He's going to be classified in one position, one or another. Have to explain it, so there we go. And now we are getting underway here as Montero pulls out of the way, allowing the rest of the field to cruise on by before he pulls out into his spot at the end of the field. Here's a good view of the circuit high above Summit Point Raceway. This is Airship Race First 1, piloted by TC. We will be referring to him a number of times as we watch the action in this session all night long. Again, this is the first of 2 races. This is the first heat race, then we move to the feature after this. This is a 30-lap or 15-minute heat race, whatever comes first.
Yeah, and already kind of a repeat of last week. I mean, in the top 4, we currently have Facundo Rago, Bruno Miranda, Chris Hill, and JJ Wang, and they were together all race. Well, of course, with Ezequiel Montero, who I'm sure is going to make his way up to the top soon. But yeah, I mean, we're starting seeing some championship implications, even though we're early in the season. But these guys have been giving it their all.
See him navigating just through turns 5 and 6. 5 is about the second passing zone here on the track. There could be up to as many as 3. Certainly probably 2 on this track. But some of these guys at the end of the night will probably swear there's 1 or none when it comes to passing zones here at Summit Point. A lot of straightaways starting right here, this little kink at 9. And then it's a long straight. And then goes to 10, and that brings you to the main straightaway.
And just a reminder that Matt Johnson is going to have to start from the pits, so.
And here we go, rounding the home stretch. Field is under the command of Bruno Miranda. Pace car in, and we are underway here at Summit Point. And Rajo is, wow, he did not waste any time. He's actually built himself up a little bit of a buffer heading into turn 1. Still side by side most of the field. Yeah, he did. Still side by side much of the field. JJ Wang P2, Christopher Hill P4, Bruno Miranda P5, Oliveira P6, P5, excuse me.
No, I'm just saying, a very clean turn 1.
Yeah, very clean. Everyone through nicely. Montero up 1 spot already around Matt Johnston. See them hitting turn 5 for the first time. Bruno Miranda and Christopher Hill currently in direct contact, and I think they might have got contact almost off the road there. Christopher Hill did go off the road. He's kind of stuck in the grass, and he's back underway.
Yeah. Oh.
He's still stuck.
He took up a couple of drivers that were with him, and now he's stuck. He's beached the car.
He has beached the car, and there are no beaches nearby here. So that is going to be a tow for Christopher Hill. Good thing this is only a heat race.
Yeah, it looks like Bruno and him were fighting side by side, and then there is not enough room for 2 drivers going through turn 6, and those S's are very, very tight. And then he just tried to make the most out of the situation, but yeah, he got beached.
The time calculator is saying we're going to do about 12 laps here, so we got 12 laps or the time limit probably. Wang and Rago looking like they have kind of bolted away. There we go. See, right through the kitty litter right there. That's what I was saying. You see the number of drivers going through there. There don't seem to be a lot of lost grip through there, but if you hit the grass or dirt anywhere else in this course, much as you just saw by Chris Hill, you are going to go slip sliding away.
Yeah, and you can get away with a little bit of that, but if you abuse that, then you're going to lose traction with the tires, and you're going to end up spinning out.
Keep an eye out for other battles on the racetrack that we want to keep an eye on. Yeah, let's go back to P5, a battle between... you're going to have to help me, Oliver and Short here.
Yeah, Oliver and Short, and then we're also having a battle with Ezequiel Montero going by Dan Miglin, and then counting Drew White there for P12, P11.
Yeah, there he is. We're watching him side by side in the 1. He's going to kind of outbrake him, and he gets the position. So he's made up since the start. Now 6 already, and 3 laps into this. So he's picking off a couple cars a lap. Remember, each car, though, he gets through, the next car is a little bit harder.
Yeah, and he might be eyeing for that P8. That would give him essentially the pole position for the feature race, or it depends on how the race comes to him, as there is an incident there with Fabián Delgado. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that he can try and do here. It's very close to Drew White there.
Yeah, Drew is, he will admit he's a bit more of an oval guy, but good to see him in the series nevertheless. He's losing the position to Montero. Now setting toward Lawson with the that Howland sponsored. But that's a
I have a feeling he's on the push a pass button because he's closing in super fast there.
Yeah, and he's great car control under braking there. Yeah.
Well, Ezequiel is up to P9 already.
Great car control. Let's take a look at some other battles on the racetrack. Look up front. Rago is still your leader, followed by JJ Wang. Oliveira is in P3. He's kind of keeping pace with this group.
There he seems to be closing in a little bit on Bayano and Anderson Bayano.
Matt Houston in the spray-painted Race First sponsored number 66 Toyota. Matt says, I need a livery, and goes to MS Paint and made that.
And going back a little bit, Ezequiel Montero now is hounding Josh Tucker for that P8 spot.
Yeah, and he's probably going to get it here at the end of the straight. He looks like he got a good run. Tucker's giving him no favors. Gave him a little bit of a fade. Now he's holding his line. Montero is right there in his draft on the bumper into the braking zone, side by side. And actually, yeah, Tucker fought him pretty good for that one, but Montero now up to 8th into that inverted spot, which will bring him to the pole. when this race ends in about 8 laps.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be happy with that. I was saying that he might be eyeing that P8 to start on the pole, but I think he wants more. Especially now that he sees Matt Houston and Anderson Baiano in front of him.
We'll check the distance to Matt Houston there. Matt is just exiting the, I guess you want to call it the carousel. I mean, hell, every road course has a carousel just about, but we call it that. Well, guess we call it their carousel, even though it doesn't officially have a name. And Montero was just entering it, so he's not close quite yet, but he has closed the gap to let's see, 2 seconds flat to Matt Houston now. We'll see what it changes under braking, under this braking zone at the end of the long straight. Already he's got it down to 1.5 seconds. And he's on push to pass.
Yeah, Dan Maglin just went by Fabian Delgado there for P12. That was the closest battle on track at the moment, but now he's driving away.
Well,
or maybe not.
Maybe not. Here comes Delgado on the fighting back on the inside. Oh, a little bit of a defensive move there.
Yeah, and you really don't want to throw it side by side there on turn 3 because that never ends up well. So maybe set it up for turn 5 that's coming after this small kink here, but not close enough to do it. Although Miglin has a little bit of a lockup with its brakes.
Well, don't look now because Montero's now on the back bumper of Matt Houston. And he's going to take a shot at Houston going down the straight into turn 10. Not necessarily one of the passing zones, but makes it work. He has now worked his way up to 7th, and now he is looking at about 2.3 seconds up to Baiano, and Baiano's on push to pass right now as he tries to make up some distance to Oliveira.
Yeah, no, and that turn 10 passing zone is a little bit iffy, but if you can make it work, it's a really great spot to do it. It's yeah.
I've seen
you need to be a little tough on that entry, but you can do it.
I've been seeing, and I would think that probably cars that have more ground effects than these, I'm thinking more single-seaters, that type of things with wings, would probably be able to go through there side by side and make a pass like that. But these guys with bumpers, I could see how that's not a good passing zone for him, but he made it work.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, end of the day, worst case scenario, you can make use of that bumper. Although, you probably shouldn't.
And I hate to take away from the video from the guys at the front, but it's they've been pretty much static since the start of the race, and this has been your big mover, Montero now, who is maybe if he could full send it there on Baiano coming into the braking zone, might get alongside and make off the pass. We'll see. No, Baiano's going to defend to the inside. Montero's going to have to take a look at the inside. I'm going to go look at the outside now. They swap. Excuse me.
Oh, side by side there.
Side by side. We're coming into 3. Not good. Who is going to blink first? Not Montero.
Not Montero. And also, he got a great launch off of 2. I mean, he saw that defensive move that Baiano did, and then he decided to take a little bit of a longer arc in order to get the power earlier and get a better acceleration of the corner. It's a great move there.
So Montero now has got a bit of a longer hill to climb now to get up to Oliveira. It's got 4.2 seconds, but he is already chewing into that because it's now under, well, actually it was just about to go under 4 seconds and we got in the braking zone, but we will see how this will be. Now he's under 4 seconds. We'll see how the deficit changes going into that first braking zone at turn 1. That's where he seems to be making up a lot of time on these guys on the braking zone. Seems to have the braking skill set of this car pretty well mastered.
Yeah, for sure. Because once you get those brakes a little hot, then braking markers might change a little bit, and you might go off track, which is exactly what happened to Anderson Baiano there, who had to take a little bit of an off track, and now Matt Houston moved by him. He's now P7. Also wanted to mention Olivier Vignon, newcomer. He's doing a great job there in P3.
And we'll get the camera on him in the iRacing Fanatec sponsored. Let's see, that's Toyota there. Right behind him, Matthew Short is next battle for position. That's P4. They're in the middle of some lap traffic at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Hill is behind him. And I know that Facundo has been managing the lead and the gap, but JJ1 hasn't gone very far away. Like, he's still within striking distance. He's 1.4 seconds behind him, and they're both in the push-to-pass button, so we'll see how that goes.
Each have 2 presses of that button left, I believe, before this race is up. 3 laps to go before we get to the time limit. And Heat Race 1 here, race first coverage round 2 of Stock Car do Brasil. And we are at Summit Point. We're currently watching a battle for the lead between Facundo Ragu, I hope I'm saying that right, and JJ Wang here in P1 and P2 at the front of the field here in, got a car off there in turn 5, out of the way, allowing the leaders to make their way through. But this is getting towards the end of Heat Race 1. We will invert the field for the first 8. Then we will move to the feature race. Once again, feature race is 60 laps or 30 minutes, whatever comes first. 30% fuel. Probably not going to see any pit stops this time in the heat race. Well, not unless you have a reason to pit.
Yeah, JJ, no, for sure, no pit stops on the heat race.
Yeah,
JJ, plenty of fuel to make it to the end.
JJ Wang falling back a little bit, 1.4 seconds. Montero getting around Oliveira, still now is making he's got 2 laps to try to cut into Short here. Does Short have enough of a distance and enough time here to hold him off in order to hold on to that P4 position? But Montero had a EOL, and he had to start from the back of the pack. He qualified on the front row, but had an EOL penalty carrying over from last week, and an incident from last week, and he has stormed from 18th on the grid all the way to 5th.
Yeah, masterful job by Ezequiel going through traffic, and I mean, he's still within striking distance. He's only 3.8 seconds behind Short, so I mean, there might be enough time for him to get up to P4 there. That's going to be huge for the championship. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to score the most points you can in both the heat race and the feature one.
And it's one of those series that every point matters for sure. We're watching him right now. He's now almost 3 flat, 3-1-2 Short. Short going through turn 10. Now Montero going through turn 10.
As we see an incident, Bruno Miranda spun around. Oh, he was already a couple laps down. Never mind.
Yeah, we missed that incident with Miranda.
So Matt Houston has had an incident. He was running P7 and now he's back to P12. I see that he had an
JJ Wang is now within 6/10 of Rago.
Moving there.
Two Toyotas at the front of the field.
They're very, very close now.
Each one has 1 push of the button left. Now, whether they are in that cooldown period, we don't know. After you use the push to pass, you have a little bit of a cooldown period before you can get on it again. There's a little bit of a weave going into 10, coming around 10 now, looking at the checkered flag on the main straight, and winning the heat race here, heat race 1 at Summit Point. Facundo Ragu is your winner, followed by JJ Wang, Vignon, Short, who launches a car. I believe that might have been Christopher Hill out of frustration. Short, Montero, Oliveira, Baiano, Tucker, Luzon, Poteet, Delgado, Houston, Johnston, White, Miglin, Hill, Maciel, and Miranda making up the final standings there of the first heat race.
Yeah, great race there by Facundo Rabo. I mean, he's now 2 in a row. He won the feature last week, and now he's won the heat race here.
So we got cars going all different directions on the main straight. Other cars still launching off the, I guess there's a bit of a ramp there that they're using on the front straight.
Yeah, it looks like Matt Houston had another issue there and lost that P12 that he had.
And down to 15th here. So waiting for a bit of a reset. And we will get the new lineup here for you just briefly.
Oh, he wrecked with Alexander Pochit. So Alexander Pochit and Matt Houston wrecked coming to the line.
Oh, okay. As we are getting to regrid here for the feature race. Remember, feature race is 60 laps or 30 minutes, whatever comes first.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, and it went by very quickly, and I don't think there really was much of a challenge there for Facundo. He just kind of ran away, got a great start, allowed, I think, JJ, just by sheer tenacity, to get within less of a second there towards the end, but that is about as close as anyone got to challenging him on that first heat race. He will now be inverted to the number 8 spot. And we will see the field here shortly line up. I guess they're getting a bit of a warm-up here.
Yeah, there's a 5-minute warm-up. Still a bummer that Chris Hill and Bruno Miranda got taken out on that first lap or second lap because it would have been a little bit more interesting. But yeah, no, it's still a great race. And JJ Wang was all the time next to Facundo, just waiting for any single mistake. And Facundo Rago never did one. So... and no way to capitalize on that. So, going quickly through the results on the heat race, Facundo Rago takes a win, followed by JJ Wang. Next, Oliver Vignon on his debut, P3. Matthew Short P4. Ezequiel Montero coming all the way back from the EOL line, EOL penalty, gets up to P5. Rafael Oliveira, Anderson Bayano, Joshua Tucker and Glenn Wilson, and Fabian Delgado. That's your top 10. Then we have Matt Johnston, Drew White, Daniel Miglin, Alexander Pochit, Matt Houston, David Maciel, Christopher Hill, Bruno Miranda, and Ian Ogden, that I believe he didn't check the green flag.
Okay. Well, while we got a little time, according to YouTube Analytics, I'll show this right here. And get the track map off. Less than half of you guys watching tonight are subscribers, so if you could do us a solid, make sure that you can change that right now and help us on our drive to 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy Race First coverage of iRacing and you respect the stream, please do us a solid and make sure you support us by subscribing. We have about 140 subscribers to go to get to the magical 1,000 mark, so you can help us by hitting that subscribe button right now. We cannot get there without you. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future Race First iRacing broadcasts. So we got about 2 minutes left here before we get into the main race at Summit Points. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we have Facundo in the waiting room.
Facundo in the waiting room. Okay, so we are going to interview. I'll bring him on down.
Quick interview.
All right, hey Facundo, congratulations on the heat race victory. Tell us about your race. And back to the waiting room.
Or maybe not.
Typically, we don't interview after the heat races, so maybe...
we kind of did it last week, but yeah, I mean, that's fine. We're not going to have that much time now. but I'm guessing he was very happy with the results.
Yeah. Let's see. If you see anybody with a solid yellow plaque on their windshield, it's likely not a bug. I'm being told it means they didn't save their skin properly. Might be good to mention on the broadcast that skins need to be exported as a TGA and uploaded as a TGA if you see that. Okay, well, if anyone notices that, there you go. That is from League Admins. 55 seconds left here in the warm-up period. So we would appreciate it if you smash the like button and give us hit the subscribe and click the bell, and that way you don't miss out on any more races that we do here on iRacing. We broadcast pretty much right now in the heat of the season every night of the week except the weekends. So if you're looking for iRacing action, you can just look here on the evenings here on RaceVerse, and we probably have something for you.
Right, looks like warm-up is wrapping up, so we are now gonna head up and grid. So the grid for the feature, like you said, Gary, we're gonna have an invert of the top 8 positions, and then we're gonna have the same results as they had. So Josh Tucker ended up P8, so he's gonna be bringing us to the green here, followed by Anderson Bayano, then Rafael Oliveira and Ezequiel Montero. Matthew Short and Oliver Vignon is going to be row 3. Then we have JJ Wang and Facundo Rago in row 4. Afterwards, Glenn Lozano and Fabian Delgado, followed by Matt Johnston and Drew White. Then Dan Miglin and Alexander Pochit, Matt Houston and David Maciel, Christopher Hill, Bruno Miranda, and Ian Ogden.
So it's going to be interesting now because we're going to have to see, not have to see, but can't really wait to see Bruno have to do the same thing that his teammate did in the heat race.
Yeah, both Bruno and Chris Hill, who, I mean, both of them have been very, very fast. So, I mean, the good thing is that you have a little bit more time here because it's, the 30-minute race. You can take a little bit more time with each pass, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to be very interesting to see them carve through the field, or at least try and do it. And, also something, the push pass button last time when we were in Interlagos, the time around Interlagos was around a minute 40 or whatever. The time off of the button, once you use it, the downtime is 85 seconds. Which is longer than a full lap here. So Once you use it, you cannot use it for an entire lap.
Yeah, it's like every other lap you could use it here. Math worked out at Interlagos, and I would imagine with those long straights especially, they used it quite a bit there. We are watching now the field underway under the command of Josh Tucker. Biano, Oliveira, Montero, Short, Vigon making up the first 6 positions. Wang, Rago, Luzon, Delgado, Houston, or Johnston, and White making up the next 6. Miglin, Poteet, Houston, Massell, Hill, Miranda, Ogden making up the remainder of the field.
Yeah, and all drivers are going to have to pit here for fuel to make it to the end, and not for tires because that takes around 30 seconds just to change those tires. So you really don't want to do that.
So there really is no strategic need to change tires at all, really, on these cars then.
Yeah, no, I mean, the tires can easily be double stinted. They do degrade a little bit, but not enough to warrant the need to lose 30 seconds in the pits to change the tire, so you really don't want to do it.
Thanks for everybody at home watching. Thanks for everybody participating in part of the chat, even though I cannot speak that language. We are at Summit Point Raceway. And we are getting ready to go green right now. I know, just a little bit ahead of Tucker. Tucker needs to take the field to green here. He is our pole sitter as a result of his finishing spot in the heat race. We're side by side coming to the start finish line. Tucker bringing him down slow. And there we go. And you watch out behind him. They are getting packed up immediately. We're going to go 3 wide in the 1.
Yeah, that slow start really packed everyone up.
Oh, Bruno Miranda's already made up about 3 or 4 spots. He shot up the middle.
Side by side there between Oliveira and Bayano there on turn 3, entering turn 4 now.
Oh, Vergon looking at the inside of Montero. Oh.
Yeah, and I'm watching Montero, and he's been like very, very calm and calculating. He could have sent it like a couple corners ago, but he knows it's a longer race and that he has the pace to do it. So very smart racing from him.
Yeah, you mentioned it yourself. It's a longer race. Have a little bit more patience. It's still a bit of a sprint, but not a sprint. He is right on the bumper of Bayano, letting him know he's there. Actually, maybe even pushed him a little bit down the straightaway, coming into turn 10 to complete the end of lap 1. And Montero still side by side with Bayano, getting the position just by a nose at the line. But Vergon is... well, he's right there, and he's going to fill in the spot. Oh, he's thinking about maybe taking a 3 wide there for a second, but he was going to fill in the spot that Montero was in and just follow him right on through. And Bayano is unfortunately getting freight trained at the moment because Ragu also is coming on through. Oh, contact!
Oh, a little tap there.
And that's going to send Ragu into the kitty litter, but he makes it, keeps it straight and off the tire barrier.
Great tire control there.
Yeah, that's he's gonna lose a position to Christopher Hill. He's gonna have Dan Miguel right behind him, and then Delgado, his teammate, who might give him a break, probably allow him to get going again.
JJ1 goes off there a little bit in front of these guys.
JJ drops those wheels off into the dirt. We mentioned right that is a really quick way to get your car sideways.
Yeah, but that goes a little bit to what we were talking about. I mean, it was a racing incident, but maybe lifting a little bit, giving a little bit more room would have probably avoided that incident there.
Sure.
Still, great car control from Facundo. I know he's going to be able to drive back through the field and fight for the win a couple of laps. As I see that Rafael Oliveira is trying to make a move for the lead there against Joshua Tucker. A little bit of a defensive line from Josh in the 77.
And we got Bruno Miranda already up to P5. Matthew Short had a bit of a moment. He lost a couple of positions, but Bruno, I told you at the start he was shooting up through the middle, and that slow start was to his advantage. There we saw Chris Hill getting his wheels way off into the kitty litter there. But yeah, that slow start really allowed Miranda to keep the gap closed physically on the racetrack. And then once they started, he kind of just shot up the middle, got a great start there, and made up at least 4 positions before even really reaching turn 1, and then start picking them off one by one. Now he's up 13 spots in 3 laps.
Yeah, both him and Chris Hill, they really made it from the entire back of the pack.
Hill 10 spots up.
As the top 4 are
they're right together,
by
yeah.
Nothing, basically. They're all under a blanket, and Oliver Young there is trying to make a move there.
Montero side by side with Oliveira. He's going to get that position. That brings him up to P2. Now Joshua Tucker is going to have a rear view mirror full of mean green coming right at him.
Yeah, and Vignon in the 33, he's been really, really smart as well. He's been following on Montero's tire threads the entire race, and whenever Montero makes a move, then he goes right with him. trying to make it work there in turn 5.
Yeah, give it a little bit of a bumper. Chrome horn applied going in the 5. Here we're going through the 6 in the carousel. So 4-car battle, quickly going to become a 5-car battle here really quick as the other Yukos Hollinger Esport entry makes its way into the picture there of Bruno Miranda. Montero getting a great launch, takes a look to the outside of Tucker coming into 10. Tucker going a little bit wide, a little bit more shallow for Montero. Tucker's on the button.
Yeah, I was about to say that Tucker has been using the button a lot to stay in front of these guys, and that's actually giving Montero a free boost. So he's basically getting a little bit of a draft just by Tucker using it.
Oh, and he dives deep in the 1, and he's off into the dirt, and he gives up 4 spots.
Man, yeah. I mean, that goes back to the additional 100 horsepower you get from that press of the button.
Yeah.
And how it messes up your entire braking markers, and yeah.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that in the exhibition race that we had. So unfortunately, he led the opening 5 laps, but had to give him up due to just a little bit of excessive speed going into turn 1, not able to hold it in there in that hairpin. And now the lead is over to Montero. So Montero, for the first time all day, is seeing clean racetrack in front of him. And let's go see if he can possibly pull away. But I'm with you. I am actually rather impressed with this Vagone, and I hope I'm saying that right. He's just hanging out, watching, not doing anything drastic or anything, just kind of learning and staying in the tire tracks.
Yeah, I'm also hoping I'm pronouncing it correctly, but my French is not the best. As he tries to go and make a move there
into the corner. Oh, and he overshot it, and he did the same thing that happened to him as what also happened to Tucker, and he's going to give up all those positions as well.
Yeah, now even Tucker's going to go by him. Oh, making a move in turn 3, that's never that good. Okay, they settle it up. Yeah, I mean, the thing... He was being very patient, just hanging out with Montero, and he decided to press a button. I mean, for sure, you always want to try and get the lead, but if you hadn't done it, then it's going to entirely change your braking markers, especially if you're going to try and now do it on the outside of the track, which is even weirder. So, yeah, that totally explains why he went wide a little bit there.
Yeah, you got that 100 extra horsepower. And if you use your braking markers there on the cones, let's say you use the 4-cone marker. If you're under push to pass, you might want to consider using the 5-cone marker. That's a little bit earlier. Otherwise, you kind of will overshoot your marks going into that corner. But Olivier, and now that I know he's from France, it's not Oliver, it's Olivier. He's actually recovered pretty well. And is starting to track down Miranda again in this group. So we'll see if he can keep it close to these guys and maybe get closer in time to when they make these pit stops everyone's going to have to make. Maybe he can possibly jump somebody. We'll see as we're watching the top 4 right now. Montero, Oliveira, Miranda, and Vagone.
Yeah, great job there by Oliveira. He's been with the top runners the entire race, and at some point I thought that Montero was going to check out, but he was dragged back in by Oliveira there, and there is only 0.7 of a second between them two.
I think someone in chat saying that I'm not saying Rago's name right, so
it's Rago.
Rago. So it's like the James Bond villain without the D. Okay, Rago. Of course, if anyone that remembers Drago, the villain. Oh, there's nothing wrong with the name Ragu though, because they make awesome spaghetti sauce. You know, back in the day they did, but
true, that's true. trying to look at the push to pass situation. Looks like Monteiro, Oliveira, they still have 5, both of them. Then we have Miranda and Vignon with 4. And then I think Heel has 5. Which is something very, I mean, the last time around when we were at Interlagos, Chris Hill was already down to 3, which is half the uses you get. You only get 6 of these, so you really need to be very mindful on when you're going to use them.
There's your purple lap, Bruno Miranda, 1:13.7. Set. Ooh, we have a car off in their turn 10. Not sure who that is. They're behind the graphic at the moment. But Bruno Miranda has the purple lap of this session, a 1:13.7 in P3 there. And they are kind of weaving. And, oh, here comes Olivier.
Yeah, he's trying the outside move again. I mean, he totally recovered from that. He had lost around 4 seconds to the leader, and he's right with them as he tries to go by Miranda in turn 3, and he's gonna make it too. He's gonna work there.
That is not a natural passing zone right there, and he made it stick. So now that moves up the Frenchman to P3.
And don't look now, but Rago is also closing in. I mean, he had that little incident there that pushed him off track, and he went all the way back to P9. He's back to P5 and only 2.5 seconds behind the leaders, so he's probably going to be a factor in a couple of laps. Vignon got a great exit off of turn 10, so he's probably going to try and send it in turn 1, although Oliveira is on the bottom.
Oh, Bruno. He thought about it to send it to the inside and hit one of the curbs instead. Disrupted his car a little bit. It's going to cost him a little time. It's going to bring him back to the clutches of Rago, but it's going to lose track here of the Frenchman in front of him, so that's going to cost him. He's going to get refocus and get hit his next couple of marks right to make up that time again. Coming in the 5. Now he looks like he's back in it.
But again, great car control by these guys. I mean, it could have easily sent him spinning around, but he noticed that he was entering at a weird angle. He lifted a little bit, was able to regain control of the car.
Let's see if Olivier decides to make another run at it coming out of 10. I don't think he's quite close enough, but he did get a great run. All of them using every bit of that tarmac coming up to the kitty litter out of the exit at 10, maximizing that speed.
Yeah, but Oliveira also got a great launch off of turn 10 there.
So we have Oliveira and Olivier. Oh, and Olivier's going to do it again. He's got a great run off of the turn 1 exit. Off of turn 2 now, going into 3.
That's something that we didn't foresee happening.
He's found something.
Like you said, it's not a natural passing zone, but he's made it work now twice in a row.
Yeah, he's found something that works there.
Matt Houston has an issue.
Going back to take a look at Matt. Yeah, he was off there a little bit, unfortunately.
There is also a great battle there for P7 actually, led by JJ Wang. Then we have actually Christopher Hill, then Josh Tucker, Matt Short, Dan Miglin, and Fabian Delgado. They're all together.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with road course racing that I've always had with broadcasting these. They were inside of riding along with JJ Wang and his Toyota. If there's a great battle at the front, just the skill set of those drivers up there, you're naturally pulled to want to watch that battle. But in the meantime, you got all these other great battles going on in the mid-pack that kind of get lost as a result. Looks like we've caught a little of cloud cover right now. Might cool the track down for these guys and the long run of these tires. But as you mentioned, we are watching JJ Wang here in 6th. Christopher Hill right behind him in 7th. Dan Miglin Matthew Short, excuse me, in 8th. Dan Miglin in 9th. That's these all guys are pretty close together. Not in super direct contact, not as they are up at the front, though. Here we are riding along in Montero and his Chevy Cruze, and he has the Frenchman, Olivier Vigon, right behind him.
Yeah, and Bruno Miranda just made a move on Rafael Oliveira on the first corner of last lap. He just sent it entering turn 1, made it stick, and now he is moving up to P3, starting from the back. As we are approaching, or we actually are at the
halfway, yeah,
15-minute mark, so we're probably gonna start seeing some guys start pitting. Dan Miglin is in the pits, actually.
Take a look at Dan on pit road. So he makes it to his spot. Oh, looks like we got him at the toe there, or I'm not sure who that is. Might be Matt Houston.
Looks like Matt Houston, yep.
The boss man. Fortunately, having the toe.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Dan Miglin unchecked changing the tires, because that pit stuff is taking
he
forever.
is up on Jack's right now, getting fresh rubber. So maybe at this point, Dan can just settle before setting fast lap time, in the old Red Bull fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something else that you need to be very mindful of. Of course, you're taking into account, like, you have to hit your braking markers, you have to make sure that you're hitting your marks, but you also have to make sure that once you're in the pit lane that you uncheck the tires and that you check only the amount of gallons that you want to get in the car, because typically each gallon takes around a second to get in the car. So if you overfuel it, that's also going to take a lot of time off of your pit stop.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of Miglin's stop, it's 53.9 on the lane, 41.1 in the box. So I mean, you said a lap around here is at a minute 13ish. So
yep.
The better part of you in the pits is almost a full lap here by about 20 seconds less. So yeah, I could see why here. You want to spend as less time as possible in the pits. It's not going to pay off by getting new tires, because there's nowhere you're going to make that time up.
Yeah, for sure. And we just saw JJ Wang do his pit stop, and he was only 11 seconds in the pit stall.
Yeah.
So
37 flat on pit road, 11.2 in the stall.
As Ezequiel Montero and Vignon, they're both coming into the pits, and they're close as ever.
We'll get the pit lane
Miranda
there.
and Rago also pitting in with them.
Yeah, we got 4 cars all hitting pit road, so we will see. Hopefully nobody rises and breaks this up, and they're going to get tires instead. Yeah, everybody's on pit road right now. Montero is away.
Very clean.
We're going right with him. Yeah, 21.8 on the lane for Montero, 8.8 in the box. Vignon 21.9 in the lane, 8.7 in the box. So it's a push.
And they're coming into traffic there.
Yeah, and that is I believe Miglin that made that longer stop on a new set of tires, and I think we have
behind him,
I think we got a new joiner to this battle. Oh, here comes
making it work there again,
and he made it work, and we have a new leader.
Wow. I mean, taking advantage of the lap cars there, that's very smart.
And again, very narrow course. We talked about this in the pre-race. There's not a lot of places for Miglin to kind of pull out of the way and hide for these guys to allow him on by. He's just kind of got to be predictable and hold his line and allow these guys to work their way around him.
Yeah, and I don't think he wants to get away from them. I'm like, he doesn't want to lose a lap.
Right.
Because he's back there just because of that issue where he had the tires changed, but otherwise he had the pace. So now he has new tires, and that's also going to give a little bit of a draft to Vignon there.
So we thought Delgado had an issue, and he's on pit road. Did he pit? That must be his regularly scheduled stop.
Yeah, he was around this before. He hadn't pitted yet.
Okay, so that explained how he got up there, but he hit pit road. I was about to say, what happened to him? But Rago now in P3, but he has there's a bit of a gap between himself and the battle for P1 up there with the between the Frenchman and Montero.
Yeah, the big winner on that, I think it was Rago, because Oliveira and Miranda, they both had a slower pit stop than him, and now he's in front of him.
Yeah, Miranda, 32.4.
Oh, Vignon goes wide.
Vignon goes wide.
He went
and stay off it, stay off the wall. And he's off the tire barrier. He's going to try to rejoin. Oof. Does that right in front of Oliveira. Oliveira probably had a bit of a gasp there, but manages to, everybody's cleanly through. Olivier, fortunately, is going to have to recover. Doesn't have a lot of time to do it now. 8 laps to go here in this feature race here in the Stock Carnival Do Brasil series. You can find them on iRacing. Just search up Stock Carnival. They use the 2 Brazilian stock car chassis that are available on the service, a Toyota and a Chevy. The season just started. This is only round 2, so if you wish to join, still another, this is an 8-week season, so we got another 6 weeks after this, so plenty of time.
I was just looking at the replay. It looks like Vignon there got a little too early on the throttle, and that really does upset the car. I mean, these guys have been doing a masterful job and making it look easy, but it's still a handful of a car that will try and spin out in case you are a little too aggressive on throttle appliance.
There's your top 5 right there. Montero, Rago, Oliveira, Vignon, and Miranda.
Yeah, and Miranda there is closing in on Vignon for P4.
Yep, and a little bit of a lockup there going into 1, now 2 for Vignon. We got Miranda now on his 6 directly. Give you a little what the interval is there, 0.8 seconds. Just a blink of an eye for these cars. Push to pass situation you mentioned before. 3 for your leaders, 3 for Rago and P2, 2 for Oliveira, 2 for Vignon, and Miranda having 2. So they got to strategically use these guys now because not very many laps left, but there's even fewer pushes of that button to go. So picture how they're going to defend and attack here. It's a game of chess.
Yeah, for sure. A game of chase at 150 miles an hour.
Take a look a little bit more back through the top 10. Christopher Hill has worked his way up 11 spots into P6. There we see him not too far behind Bruno Miranda. Matthew Short, he is in the top 10 in P7. JJ Wang, he is kind of hanging on here to the back half of the top 10. And P8, Josh Tucker, who started on the pole, but unfortunately had an off and gave up some positions, is back in P9, still looking at a solid top 10 finish here with 6 laps to go. And Fabian Delgado, he has maintained his top 10 spot after his pit stop, and he has brought his number 51 Toyota into the 10th spot, but he's got Matt Johnston. Well, Matt Johnston was a lot closer just a second ago as Johnston goes a little wide into turn 1 and gave up some ground. So that is your top 10 at the moment. Mingland, Houston, Massell, and White currently shown out as we have 14 cars on the track. Everybody is on the lead lap currently.
Yeah, I wanted to take a second to appreciate what Ezequiel Montero has been doing, and we talked about it a little bit when we started coming all the way from the back on the heat race, and then over here when he started, I think it was P4, P5, but he's been very patient, and when he lost the lead, he also was very patient. He wasn't like just aggressively trying to get it back. He was like, okay, well, I'll just slot behind this other guy and just follow him for a little bit and try and understand where he was strong, where he was struggling, and at the end of the day, just being patiently behind him and just capitalizing on any mistakes that happened, and it did happen for the 33 of Vignon, unfortunately. But yeah, he's been driving a very, very solid race with no incidents, not pushing himself, and just staying. He's now checked out, so
Yeah,
a great racing from him.
He's up on Rago by 4.2 right now, but basically 4 seconds at the moment.
Looks like Vignon is not done, and now he's coming back and trying to get a podium there. He did it once, he's trying to do it again.
Well, Miranda's not done either, because those two are quickly getting onto the tail of Oliveira.
Looks like Oliver is using probably his last push to pass there.
He might be, yeah. That's it's going to be a long 5 laps for him, but Vignon is also on the button.
Well, the graphic still shows me 1, so maybe it was the second to last one for them.
Yeah, I'm still seeing 1 for them as well. Sure, currently showing no push-to-pass left. Those Winchester on that is Wang and Johnston. They are currently 0. Nothing left to fire there. Sticking with this battle, this is becoming very interesting now.
Yeah, he's very, very close now. I think he's going to try and set it up for turn 10 there. Or maybe the signature move that we saw implemented on turn 3 that only he has been able to do.
Yeah, it took coming out of 2, going into 3, down the inside there. It did not get as good of an exit off a 10 as Oliveira did, but he is working the draft. And he dives it in deeper into the braking zone this time.
Yeah, Mignon is the faster car on track by far. I mean, at this point, Ezequiel Montero, he's just taking care of his lead, as he should. No need to really push. But the fastest guy last time around was the 33 car again.
Miranda still with the purple lap, a 1:13.7. There you see the fastest time set by each one of the drivers. Coming through the S's on the back part of the course for hitting the straightaway leading to the home straight into turn 2 and the exit there.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see the 13 a little bit loose. But he's able to get a great runoff here. That's where Vignon has been traditionally strong, although they're now both on the bottom.
Yeah, this is last push for both.
And we only have 2 minutes left, so I think we're gonna get the white next time by.
Hounding him to the bitter end. Again, coming through the straight here, leading to turns 4 and 5. 5, one of the more, well, not exactly a passing zone, but can be used as one. And Olivier definitely gets it in really close there.
Well, every zone is a passing zone if you try hard enough, right?
True, true.
No, but yeah, you're right. That's traditionally maybe the third best to do it here, but it's still not necessarily something where you would try and do it constantly.
He's gonna have. I think he's gonna have a run this time. We'll see. They got both good exits off of 10, going down the main straight. No white flag that time. Showing 2 to go. He's blinking his lights. I don't know if he's using that to kind of distract, or if he just pretends, or if he pretends it's like, or if he just pretends it's like a pew pew button or something.
I think the lights, they're passive aggressive no matter who you are.
Right.
Still very close together.
Yeah. Rago 3.5 to the leader, so Montero has started the final lap. Let's go take a peek here at the 99 for a second.
Oh, it was the last
okay,
lap.
So they just went white flag. We did not see it. It must have been right down the border. And that is a finishing by Montero. So good thing we got the camera on him. He got the checkered flag. Rago finishing second. So let's follow this final battle here between Oliveira and Vagon. Oh, so close. They are right there on bumpers. But Oliveira getting the top, the bottom step there of the podium. Olivier Vagon really has nothing to be unhappy about. Might just be a little upset at maybe going off there, but he definitely worked his way back up through the field. Bruno Miranda finished 5th. And do we have...
JJ Wang... sorry. JJ Wang and Fabian Delgado just got together coming to the line, coming to the checker flag, and they're going to drop a lot of spots there.
Yeah, we got cars off into the trees.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a little bit of a penalty.
And several cars just now completing their final lap here at Summit Point. So let's take a look at the final standings here as they are.
Yeah, so that was a great race again, and the winner, Ezequiel Montero, he did a masterful job being patient and going through the field, and finishing second is Facundo Rago, followed by Rafael Oliveira, wrapping up the podium. Then we have Olivier Vignon, newcomer, did a great race. He was very exciting to watch. Then we have Bruno Miranda, Christopher Hill, both of them coming all the way from the back to P5 and P6. Great finishing spots for both of them. Matthew Short, Joshua Tucker, Matt Johnson, and Glenn Luzon. That's your top 10. Then we have Anderson Bayano, Alexander Pochit, JJ Wang, and Fabian Delgado. That they both end up wrecking on the last lap. Then we have Dan Miglin, Matt Houston, David Maciel, Drew White, and Ian Ogden that I believe didn't take the green.
It's all right.
Again, a very exciting race.
Yeah, that was. They were making, and we talked about this in the pre-race, as we weren't sure really where they were going to pass here. This is a very narrow course. Look, it's only 2 lanes, and even though these would be in America, I guess, smaller cars, still they are full-bodied cars, and they take up quite a bit of that roadway, and. We thought passing was going to be at a premium here, and passing was hard, but it was not impossible.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw, both Miranda and Hill coming all the way back from, from the bottom of the field. Same with Ezequiel Montero, who ended up winning the feature race. And we also saw Vignon coming through the field. Like everyone was carving through it, and we were a little afraid that it's going to be, or it was going to be a little tough to pass, but these drivers showed that it was anything but.
Got a couple guys in the waiting room. We will bring down Rago here and have him tell us about his race. Hey there, we got you in the booth. It's Gary and Antonio. Congratulations on your finish there, P2. Had a great points day. Tell us about your heat race and your on the podium there on the feature.
Hey guys, it's a pleasure to be here again. Well, yeah, the sprint it was all about managing the push to pass deploys and the tires, of course. I think I was very lucky with the start, with of course the penalty for Ezekiel and of course the crash that happened behind me. But yeah, JJ was a bit faster than me. I was taking care of the tires. It's tricky here with this car, you know, and yeah, just taking care of the tires, like I said, and managing the pace to make it to the end. And yeah, the main race was a bit tricky, of course. I saw myself there fighting for the top 10, and yeah, I had a bit of contact with someone. I don't know who it was, but yeah, yeah, a bit lucky, of course, again, and then yeah, very fun race to race with these guys is great.
Hey, Antonio, you got anything?
Yeah, no, great recovery there, Facundo. And, you know, it's now becoming something very common to see you here with us. Congratulations on that. And again, great recovery. How did you manage to get yourself back into the race after you had that contact there on, you know, that sent you to, I think, like P8 or P9? You rallied back to P2. How did you do that?
Yeah, I think I got to P12 or something, and yeah, it was all about being patient. Yeah, you know, in this track with these cars, you can't do anything risky because yeah, we saw some crashes, fighting for lead and the top steps of the podium, you know. But yeah, it was all about being patient and managing the tires, the push to pass deploys, and yeah, I did some good passes, I think, with some guys that it's really great to fight with. I think Chris it was like overdriving some of the corners. He had a bit of trouble on the middle of the race, but yeah, overall it's a great race. Didn't think I was this strong here, but yeah, I got a bit lucky, and yeah, it was a pretty good race. And congrats to Ezekiel, of course. He was the fastest today.
Well, congratulations on your spot in the podium, and as you said, it had a good heat race as well, so a great day points-wise. Moving on to Fuji next in Japan, so we hope to see you there. Anybody you'd like to say hi to, shout out to anybody, any sponsors, anything like that? Anybody you want to say hi to in your own language?
Of course, let me thanks to in Spanish, of course. Gracias a ATR otra vez, los muchachos están siempre ahí, a Pedaleras Felfiti, que es uno de los sponsors del auto. Cambiamos el paint scheme para esta fecha y bueno, funcionó también, así que muchas gracias a los muchachos de ATR como siempre. Thank you very much.
I like that paint scheme too. All right, well, congratulations.
Felicitaciones, Facundo.
Congratulations, and we will see you in a week at, if all goes well, and Fuji.
Of course. Thank you very much, man.
Let's bring out today's winner, Ezekiel Montero. Hello, Ezekiel. We're in the booth here with Gary and Antonio. I would say probably the feature race was a lot easier for you than the heat race from having to come from the rear, but you did have a little competition in the feature race. Tell us about the feature race, and then and then also, you know, what's it like coming from the rear, especially with these cars, and also on a racetrack that doesn't have a lot of passing zones.
Antonio, ¿me puede traducir? Ahí está.
Sí, claro, Ezequiel, ahí
Ahí
voy.
va, ahí va, ahí va,
Ahí va. Sí, te pregunta Gary que qué tal te sentiste en la primera carrera que tuviste que venir desde el fondo. Y bueno, en la feature no tuviste tantísima competencia al final, pero ¿qué tal fue esa primera parte, sobre todo en el heat race, de regresar desde el último lugar por aquel penalty que te hicieron?
Y desde el principio tratamos una carrera donde para sumar puntos, para alargar lo más adelante posible y no mandarnos ninguna macana o para obtener otra penalización. Pero estuvo áspera, estuvo bastante complicada.
Yeah. So he says we try to maximize points and not do anything to warrant another EOL. So the hit race was a little bit complicated in that sense, but he was patient and made it work.
Now you can go ahead and ask a question. It sounds like you got this interview covered.
All right. Bien, Ezequiel, ¿qué tal entonces? O sea, lo que estuvimos observando durante la carrera es que fuiste paciente durante la feature race. Fuiste el más paciente y eso te permitió salir avante y en realidad terminar pasando a todo el mundo. What we saw in the feature race was that you were very, very patient and you didn't make any crazy moves. You were just waiting for the moment to make moves and basically to allow everyone else to make mistakes, and you came out on top.
Sí, teníamos buen ritmo. Sabíamos en las prácticas del equipo que tenemos buen ritmo para esta carrera. Entonces tratamos de pasar tranquilos los autos y no complicarnos, ¿no?
Yeah, we had good rhythm, good pace, and we didn't try to make it any tough on us. Bueno, pues Ezequiel se está convirtiendo en una costumbre verte por acá. It's becoming very, very common seeing you here at the end of the race. Is there anyone you want to thank? ¿Hay alguien a quien le quieras agradecer? ¿Alguien a quien le quieras mandar saludos?
Sí, quiero agradecerle, bueno, a todos los chicos del equipo. Bueno, agradecerle a mi compañero de equipo, Brunito Miranda, que me hace el aguante siempre. Y bueno, a todos ustedes, gracias por el gran campeonato que nos están brindando.
I want to thank Bruno and the team, Juncos Hooligan Racing, eSports, and just thank us for the great job that we're doing. Thank you, you're so kind. Muchas gracias, eres muy amable.
It's still early for me, so I appreciate it. But thank you very much. Congratulations on the win. We will hopefully see you in Fuji, where you get a chance to extend the points battle yet another week. So congratulations and have a good weekend.
Felicitaciones a Ezequiel, nos veremos en Fuji y ten un buen fin de semana.
Gracias, chicos. Igualmente, un abrazo grande.
Bye.
All right. Man, I'm glad we have you in the booth. I got 3 years of German, but yeah, I guess I need to go. We need to go find a bunch of F3 leagues for me to be able to do translations in. But thanks for picking up the ball there. So interesting race, and all in all things considered, as you talked about it, a lot more exciting than we thought it probably would be. A lot more passing than we thought there probably would be. Again. It sounds like a lot of these guys were always aware of the inevitable EOL if they made some sort of contact with somebody, especially if it was their own issue, avoidable contact. They just did not want to do that again, and they're just like, we're just going to do everything and keep everything in front of us and allow the race to come to us. And that's it seems like clearly kind of what they did in the heat race and into the feature.
Yeah, for sure. I think, seeing those penalties happen, it was like, okay, well, I mean, I can try and I can do some, crazy moves, but maybe not that crazy because it's going to get us all the way to the back. And, I mean, we saw it's doable by both Ezequiel, Bruno, and Chris Hill. But if you're already starting the race from all the way to the back, it's only an uphill battle. So you want to minimize the kind of damage that would happen if you do that. So, yeah. Totally understand these drivers trying not to get into an EOL issue. Right.
Well, and then I definitely, as a driver that likes to keep everything in front of him as well, I certainly appreciate and can sympathize with that approach. So great race here at Summit Point. We move on to Fuji next. No telling how these cars are really going to do there. I would imagine that long straightaway is going to be pretty. We're going to see a lot of probably some of the same moves we saw draft-wise from Interlagos on that straightaway at Fuji.
Yeah, that super long straight. I mean, that's going to be the longest straight that we're going to be visiting. So that 21-second duration of that push to pass button, I think we should be able to grab most of that straightaway and a little bit more. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these cars handle it. And at some point, somebody even spoke about maybe we can see a little bit of bump drafting.
Wow.
I guess we're going to find out once we actually get to the session next week.
Could be exciting. Well, don't miss it for sure. But I think that's it for tonight. It's a kind of a nationwide. I'm not sure what it's like down in Mexico, but man, it is hot here throughout the Midwestern United States into the East Coast. So my computer room is squelching hot. I'm sure all these other drivers are probably just as hot, because I hear that there's even a bit of a heat, just pretty much the same heat wave is over in Europe. So let's get everyone on their way out of here. We want to thank everyone for watching, and we'll return the rest of their nights to them. So let's go ahead and get on out of here. So that's it for tonight. Everyone. Once again, your podium from Summit Point is Ezekiel Montero, Facundo Ragu. No, I said that right. No, Rago and Rafael Oliveira. That is your top three from here at Summit Point. Join Antonio and myself again next week for round 3 of Stock Car Do Brasil, coming to you from Japan and the Fuji Racecourse. Coverage, as always, begins right around 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can find everything here on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceFirst. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support RaceFirst with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing the like button, just like this. Just like that. It's very simple. If you're new, click subscribe while you're at it. Hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of Race vs. Other iRacing programming, including the 4D Raceware Monday Night IndyFix Top Split, the Race vs. Formula Indy Series on Tuesdays, the Revolution Indy League's Schaefer's IndyCar Series on Wednesdays, and the IndyCar iRacing Series on Fridays during NTT IndyCar race weekends, this is one of them. So we're going to be racing in Iowa here on Friday. Don't forget to join us. So keep your browser set here for the most in-depth knowledge on all of iRacing. And that's IndyCar knowledge, of course. Race first, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries and learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter via our handles, and you'll see those right here at the bottom of the screen. Boom, right there. Race First, me, Antonio. So for Antonio Estrada, everyone here at Race First, I'm Gary Gozzo saying all good night and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Get you again next week in Fuji for the next race of the Stock Car Do Brasil. Good night.